Now, Russia has said that Ukraine struck a prison in separatist-held territory with a US-made HIMARS rocket, which resulted in the deaths of 40 Ukrainian prisoners of war and wounding 75 others. But Ukraine, for its part, has claimed that Russia carried out the strike to falsely incriminate Kyiv. That the deaths of the 40 prisoners of war overshadowed the United Nations brokered deal to restart shipping grains from Ukraine and also to ease the worldwide food crisis. Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of committing another war crime by attacking this prison facility.
I was briefed today about the strike by the occupiers on Olenivka in the Donetsk region. It was a deliberate Russian war crime, deliberate mass killing of Ukrainian prisoners of war, more than 50 killed. When defenders of Azovstal were exiting the plant, the International Red Cross Committee and the UN became guarantors of life and health of our warriors. There should be a clear legal recognition of Russia as a state sponsoring terrorism. I am especially turning to the United States of America. A decision is needed. It is needed now. Russia has proven by numerous terrorist acts that it is the largest source of terrorism in today's world. This is a fact.
Now, Ukraine's armed forces have denied responsibility for the attack, saying that Russian artillery was the one that targeted the prison to hide the mistreatment of the Ukrainian prisoners of war who were held there. A spokesman for the Moscow-backed separatists claimed that Ukraine had attacked the prison after the prisoners had begun talking about the crimes that they had committed while conducting their operations. Now, Ukraine's new prosecutor general has said that he had opened a war crimes investigation into this incident, and Russia's defense ministry has said that the strike had been carried out with the American-made HIMARS artillery. Now, the ministry has also produced fragments of what it said were rockets that were fired by the HIMARS system that had been given by the Americans to the Ukrainians in the war against Russia.
Намеренного ракетного удара 29 июля из американской системы залпового огня «Хаймерс» по следственному изолятору в районе населенного пункта Еленовка киевским режимом убита и покалечена большая часть из находившихся там 193 военнопленных украинцев. По уточненным на утро 30 июля данным, в результате ракетного удара погибли 50 украинцев. Останки 48 военнопленных украинцев были обнаружены и извлечены из-под завалов помещения изолятора. Еще двое украинских военнопленных от тяжелых ранений скончались в дороге при транспортировке в медицинское учреждение.
Now, the International Committee of the Red Cross is seeking access to the site and has offered to help evacuate the wounded. The Ukraine has accused Russia of atrocities and brutality against the civilians since its invasion and has said that it has identified more than 10,000 possible war crimes. Russia has denied targeting civilians in the war. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of what exactly happened in this gruesome case, we're being joined by Sasha Romantsova, who is an executive director at the Center for Civil Liberties, and she's joining us from Kyiv. Now, Ms. Romantsova, this is a pretty shocking incident that's in fact come to light. This is a prison facility in the separatist-backed Donetsk region that was targeted. The prisoners of war who were held inside this prison, we're given to understand, were Ukrainian prisoners who were under Russian control who were targeted. Russia claims that it was Ukraine which used a HIMARS rocket system given by the Americans to them. This was used to kill Ukrainian soldiers held as prisoners of war. How is Ukraine responding to this?
For us, it's sure we need to make investigation for this case because it's one of the massive war crimes against war hostages. But it's not first time when Russia side is exactly doing this because we have few such cases from Mariupol when 43 person which lying in hospital because they have a hitting was just a shooting by Russian side because that was Ukrainian soldiers. So sure, it's first of all need to be investigated. That's why Ombudsman of Ukraine, who represent the Parliament of Ukraine, he asked access to this territory because this territory now under control of Russian forces. So they asking this access to have whole the version of investigation. And sure, we expect that international mission have access there to have this investigation because Ukraine only think about that if it's war crimes, both sides. We need to know about the sure. So for this, it's not need to be answered from Russian side. That need to be international investigation.
So you're saying that Ukraine is open for an international investigation because the Russians say that they've got the forensic evidence, they've got the fragments of these shells, of these HIMARS made, launched shells that actually struck this prison facility, and they say quite categorically that it was Ukraine that shelled this prison facility that had Ukrainian prisoners of war inside it.
But it's really need to understand that 2 days before they was in other building. And so if we will speak about some intelligence information, so nobody knows that they was removed from this building except Russian sides, from one side. From other side, it's a big question of these tracks of when HIMARS is shooting something, it's have other tracks when now we're seeing like in the video of Russian media, which they put in the internet. So we understood that it was explosion from inside of this building. So it's sure we don't have full information. That's why we need access to have this investigation. And just to repeat again, it's need to be international investigation because we can't trust to Russian conclusion in this.
Absolutely, indeed, because it does need an investigation. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Sasha Romansova, for joining us from Kyiv and sharing your insight with us, because this is a war crime, as anyone would put it. These were prisoners of war. These were Ukrainian soldiers who had been captured by the Russians, and it is they who in fact been killed through this missile strike. The Russians claim that it was a HIMARS rocket that was in fact fired on this prison. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.